So that's the tour. I already checked in. I guess this is the opera, maybe? We'll find out. Okay, so this is the Ringstrasse. It goes all the way around the old town. It's the ring road. It used to be the city walls. And they demolished the city walls and built all the important buildings around it. That was done by King Franz Joseph. This is the opera, the first building that they built around the Ringstrasse. And it was criticized for being too ugly. The King Franz Joseph, said that it looks like a squatting elephant. Upon hearing that, the architect committed suicide by shooting himself. It looks kind of ordinary because it doesn't have stairs leading up to it. Grandiose buildings supposed to have stairs leading up to it, and the stairs were designed, but because they built the subway, it swallowed up the stairs. He also mentioned that this is one of the most livable cities in the world. One of the reasons is the cheap rent. 1/4 of all the apartments are owned by the state, and they have rent control. So in Vienna, 1-bedroom apartment costs 600 euros. And with rent control, even private owners cannot charge more than 10 euros per square meter. 600 euros won't even get you a doghouse in LA. So there's the Ringstrasse there, and that's the Habsburg Palace. And these lights have 2 women or 2 men holding hands with a heart. And this is because in, I think, 2015, Austria won Eurovision. Eurovision's a big singing contest. They made a movie. Will Ferrell made a movie out of it. And I'll put a description about that movie. Anyway, they won in 2015 with a transgender woman wearing a beard, and after that they celebrated by replacing those traffic signs. And the Habsburg Palace we're going to, it was built over 700 years, so it doesn't look as nice as the other palace, Schönberg. That's a soccer hotel, and that has a soccer cake. That's their famous cake. I tasted it 12 years ago. You had to wait in line for like 30 minutes to get in. It was okay. It wasn't worth the 30-minute wait. And the guide said the same thing. It's kind of like, yeah, it's okay. It's not worth all that wait. So that's the statue of Franz Joseph. He's the emperor who built all the buildings around the Ringstrasse. He was married to a famous Queen Sisi. And I think he was the emperor that was in power right before World War I. This is the Habsburg Palace, built over 700 years, so it has all these different styles. And that's the Albertina Museum. Impressionist art, Monet to Picasso.
That's not an original building of the Ringstrasse.
So these are the monuments to the atrocities of World War II. That monument was built in 1988, which is really late. For 50 years they did nothing about admitting atrocities they committed during World War II. First 50 years, Austria played the victim role. They said, oh, they were the victims of World War II. They didn't really want it, but it's not really the truth, because Austria voted 99% to join Germany in 1938. So they wanted to be part of Germany. Anti-Semitism before the war, so they were not a victim, and they denied their past for like 50 years. There was also a chancellor, I think his name's Kurt Waldheim. I'll correct the name if I'm wrong. He was a chancellor of Austria, also the president, I think, and secretary general of the UN. But it was discovered that he had a hidden past, which was the fact that he was part of the Nazi party. So now Austria is openly admitting the wrong deeds that they did during World War II. After the war, for 10 years, they were occupied by 4 countries. And they had to convince the 4 countries to leave the occupation. The way they did it is by claiming that they're going to be neutral. I'm going to check if they're part of NATO now.
This empress known as Maria Theresia. She's the one, yeah, she's the one in blue. Note how everybody's pointing at her. She's even pointing at herself. Yeah. Maria Theresia is the one who constructed the Schönbrunn Palace. So if you go and see that, it's her palace. And she is regarded as one of the last true golden ages of the Habsburgs in Austria. Everybody in Austria learns about Maria Theresia first. That's the first.
So that's the statue of Joseph, and his sister was Mary Antoinette, who got beheaded. Their mother was Marie Theresa, and she was the one who made schools obligatory. She was the big fan of Enlightenment. This building is a mixture of Enlightenment and Baroque. Baroque styles are really intricate, a lot of gold, curved lines. That's the top is Baroque. The bottom is Enlightenment. After her daughter, Mary Antoinette, got beheaded, Marie Theresa, she reversed her policies. She went back to religion. They were in shock with all the revolutions, all that extra freedom, enlightenment, made the people realize, hey, we don't need emperors. Let's behead them. So Marie Theresa decided, we're not going to give enlightenment to the people. Give them back to religion.
These guys just do it a bit quicker. Yeah.
So that's the Spanish riding school. Those horses are trained to jump. They're trained to jump and dance to the music of Mozart. And it's called the Spanish riding school because the Habsburg Empire, they were in Spain also. So there were 2 Habsburg empires, one in Austria and one in Spain. They were everywhere. They were even in Brazil. Wow, look at this. Look at this. They were in Brazil. The tour guide said the yellow in Brazil represents the Habsburg Empire. They were in the Philippines. Philippines named after Philip, a king, I think it was a Spanish king of the Habsburgs.
Yeah, because there's a lot of parallels about their lives. And their popularity is very similar as well. She was a bit of a people's empress. Yeah? So that's the a fat elephant.
Oh.
Mind you, they are only 7 years apart. It's only the pictures that I've chosen that make him look.
So that's the CC Museum. CC and Franz Joseph. They were kings and queens. The last famous kings and queens of Austria, Habsburgs. But things did not go well for them. CC, by the way, she really cared about her looks, and after she was 35, she did not have anybody take photos or make portraitures of her. So Franz Joseph's first son went crazy. He shot his wife and then he killed himself. His second son died of food poisoning, so his next heir was his nephew, Franz Ferdinand, and he's the guy who was shot in Sarajevo, Serbia, that started World War I. Franz Joseph's brother also tried to take over Mexico, and that did not end well for him either. So very tragic stories. So this is the main shopping street of Vienna. This one right here. This is a coffee house that first made the first soccer cake, but the other hotel took ownership of that through a lawsuit. So Vienna is known for their coffee houses. I did not know that. And they've been doing this for 400 years, way before Starbucks. And the infamous dictators, Hitler, Stalin, Trotsky, and I think another one, all were here in Vienna and were probably at the same coffee house at one time. But probably didn't know each other, maybe. They got all the important designer labels. Gucci, Fendi. So this is like Beverly Hills of Vienna. Wow, look at this. Very grandiose and overwhelming. Way better than I remembered it being. Way better than I remember it being 12 years ago. That statue or this fountain, a lot of gold, a lot of intricacy, a lot of drama. I guess it would be Baroque. So Baroque style is supposed to have a lot of drama, a lot of gold and marble. My guess is this is Baroque.
You were very depressed. Yeah, your husband is not going to be pretty. Yeah, they had this very strange looking face that was usually and almost always caused by a massive overbite. Yeah, this huge chin.
So that statue is a statue of the plague. It is Baroque style. He was showing some paintings of the Habsburgs, and they were notorious for having some genetic defects, including weird looking faces, overbite, and a huge chin. The picture that he showed was of the last Habsburg Emperor of Spain. The Habsburg had a whole bunch of issues like hemophilia, as well as the woman dying giving childbirth. 80% of the women died during childbirth. Oh, there's the cathedral. Look at that. Look at the intricacy of that outer facade. So this is the St. Stephen's Cathedral. Front side is Romanesque. The back side is Gothic. He said the way to tell Gothic is the pointed arches. Pointed arches means that it's Gothic. It was built over 400 years. Very impressive. You could go upstairs, go to the towers. Let me see if I'm gonna do that. So there's a phallic symbol on the left. That's the male one. That's the female one. And it's on the wall of this church, St. Stephen's Church. Because to carry over from the pagan religion, fertility symbol. And that's St. Stephen up there with the stone because he got stoned while trying to be a missionary. All right, let's go inside, see what it looks like.
So überliefert ist uns das Evangelium. Und so gibt es auch heute manche Bewegungen, die sich von diesem Johannes, von seinem Lebensstil auch inspirieren lassen. Selbst bei den hartgesottenen Soldaten, bei den skrupellosen.
So the interior was magnificent. There was mass being held, so couldn't go inside beyond the initial entry area. But look at this. Amazing. And that's where the phallic symbol is. That's the male phallic symbol. Okay, the tour was amazing. Red and white tour. I think he had his own private company also. Jan, great tour guide. I learned a lot, especially about different artwork. Baroque and Romanesque. And also Enlightenment style, Gothic.